Right, here I am again, in the bar still. Let's see what else we can find here. This is actually where you can start a chapter that I just ignored. Actually, in this town I have 2 chapters unlocked for my apothecary in the chapter 3 and for my healer the chapter 2, which I could both start if I have them in my party. You can restore your reputation, but the most important thing is probably how you can switch your party, and this is where you can see my other party members. As you can see, the Huntress is someone whom I used very often, but I had to bench her because I had to do the Warrior's quests, and since she has as a secondary class the Warrior class now, and he has the Hunter class as a secondary class, yeah, they're both kind of identical now, I guess, which I'll have to give some thought later. The Dancer is the only one who can use dark magic, so that's, I guess that's her justification for being around, but I honestly don't see much of a point, because primarily because she has only the knife as a weapon class, which my thief always has anyway, so there's not much use to have her on. Even worse is the Trader, who has absolutely no skills that I find useful at all. You find money on the road and you get more money from encounters and stuff like that, but who needs that? Especially now that I have Merchant as a secondary class, where it's actually pretty good because it gives you the bow and I think the lance as a weapon upgrade, which is great for the thief, for example, and for other classes as well. And then there's this guy, the Apothecary, which should be my main healer. As you can see, I've been using him a lot as well. But I had, for story reasons, I had to bench him for a bit. I'm probably gonna get him back soon. And as you can see, he has Thief as secondary class. Yeah, all of the I have all secondary classes now. Yeah, sometimes you can find your characters in the bar and talk to them. Sometimes there's very little party banter, so it feels, for the most part, all of these story chapters are very isolated towards the characters. So the other characters you have don't even show up in them. So it feels very isolated, and the only exception is that sometimes you can press plus, and there will be some party banter during a story chapter about the story that's currently going on. That is pretty much the only thing that connects everything together, and I actually find it very enjoyable, because usually the plots in JRPGs are pretty bad, and I mean, let's face it, that's not what I play these games for. So the story here isn't much better than that, I feel, but something that's very refreshing is the fact that, you know, everyone has their own chapters, and even those chapters are very episodic. So for example, if a villain gets introduced in Ulveric's chapter 2 or something, then, you know, he gets dealt with in the same chapter, and then you never see him again. And that way it means there's always something new going on, and I really enjoy that. This is, by the way, where you can see how much progress you've made. As you can see, only my healer is missing the second chapter. And from the length of this, I would say everyone has 4 chapters. It's my guess, at least. Yeah, you have the same for the areas in the game, which is where you can keep track of the sub-quests. No idea how I unlock further sub-quests around there, but the way you see them is, if I go back for a bit... This town looks a bit boring, by the way, but I feel that everything in this game is very varied, and I especially like the soundtrack. But also visually, like, no town looks like the other, pretty much. They're very different, very distinct from each other. And the music helps giving them all a very distinct atmosphere. So let's see here. This is a sub-quest because it had an orange speech bubble. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. So sometimes another skill that I usually ignore, you can also battle everyone, and sometimes they will stand in front of a door and block your way. And then you have to battle them to get past, or you can make them follow you maybe not this one. Can I do the turn? No, of course not. No one here actually lets me guide them, but you can make them follow you, so 2 of them, which they follow you here in the field, so you can find this girl's mother and bring her to her, probably somewhere in another town, I imagine. But they also join you in battle, which can be fun, so you can actually modify your character. Your cleric, for example, can get someone with a spear to accompany them, and then they can also help you with the enemy weakness, for example. So you can plan a lot of stuff this way. And yeah, that wraps up, I think, what I wanted to show you of the game. So far I've been having a lot of fun. I'm about 40 hours in. And I have to say, I think it's one of the most solid games by Square Enix that I've played in many years. So definitely something to look forward to if you're curious about it. So yeah, see you around.